All right, well, good evening, and welcome to the April 14, 2025 Board of Aldermen meeting for the City of Town and Country, and I call this meeting to order. I would ask everyone to rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I would ask the city clerk to call roll for attendance.
Alderman Allen. Here. Alderman Harder.
Here.
Alderman Hughes. Here. Alderman Kinsella.
Here.
Alderman Murphy.
Here.
Alderman Schwer.
Here.
Alderman Steinhubel.
Here.
And Alderman Weezan.
Here.
Mayor Reem is presiding, and we do have a quorum.
Thank you. Relative to the minutes from the last meeting, our last board meeting, I seek a motion and second to approve. Second. Any discussion or amendment? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There's no answer. Thanks. There's several requests to speak. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take two of them right off the bat. And then the other ones that are already related to the public hearing, I'll take in the middle of the public hearing. So first is Mr. Doug Miller. Please, and I think for our records, if you just state your name and your address for the records.
Hello, I'm Doug Miller. I live at 16 Chapel Hill Estates, right down the road. And just, I've been elected president of our homeowners association. And I'm just here respectfully asking for some advice or guidance on how to get a new road sign at the entrance to our subdivision. The white letters have come off, or just rubbed off, worn off somehow over the past 30 years. And we'd just like to get a new green and white road sign that says, the entrance to our subdivision, which is Chapel Hill Estates. My phone number is on there, and email. So if you just get a follow-up on what actions I need to officially take to request this is just a first step as a guess on how to proceed.
Thanks. And I'll tell you what, looking at myself or Mr. Shelton, we'll get back to you with that information in the very near future.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
All right. Next is Pat McNamara. Then again, just give your name, your address, and then feel free.
Pat McNamara, 12200 Clayton Road.
Okay.
I have a gas station there. I'm speaking for the amendment or whatever you have against the
And I will get a little bit
for the liquor license and
and talk a little bit louder.
Sure, it's for the liquor license and the gaming machines.
Okay.
Okay. And I just wanted to talk about what was going on with that with the city and how they were addressing it. I was thinking it was very unfair the way that they were addressing the gaming machines by tying it to the liquor license application. You know what I mean? Which is, if they have an issue with the machines, get rid of the machines, but to tie it to the licensing of, your liquor, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Seems like it's just underhanded the way they did it. They're trying to get rid of the machines. If they can't get rid of the machines, why are they trying to add it to the ordinance to apply to your liquor license? Doesn't make any sense. It's like selective enforcement of the law. You know what I mean?
Well, I just make two quick comments.
Sure.
Number one, when this whole thing came forward and we approved it, the owner who owns the franchise never mentioned they were going to put in gambling machines.
Right.
Secondly, I have not received any emails from citizens that are saying, gee, boy, it's great we got gambling machines in town and country.
Well, I'm sure that I could have them, a lot of those people would, because most people enjoy the machines. So if you want me to have people email you for the machines, I could have thousands of people come.
Give it a shot.
Okay. I have more than.
Because I've had zero so far.
Well, nobody's told us of this, you know what I mean? All we've had is the city come to us and say, you know, please remove the machines, you know, ask you maybe get rid of them and so forth. But there's been no other, you know, I mean, they're not illegal. So just to put that with the liquor license is totally unfair. I just think that's, you know, I mean, that's selective prosecution. It's illegal. I don't think it's fair at all. That's all I have to say about it.
Thank you for coming, I appreciate it. Next, we have a public hearing, and I hope I pronounce this right, the gentleman's name right, a public hearing to review a request by Deakar Verlapatati, owner, for approval of a conditional use permit for a roof-mounted solar energy system facing a street at 1019 Polo Downs Drive in the planned residential community zoning district. I now declare the public hearing open. I would ask the city clerk to enter exhibits.
Exhibit number 1 is affidavit of publication of notice of hearing published in the St. Louis County on March 22nd, 2025. Exhibit number 2 is typewritten notice of hearing posted at the municipal center on the city's website, sent via Notify Me, posted on the subject property, and mailed to property owners within 300 feet of that property with a list of those property owners attached. Exhibit number 3 is bill number 2516, and I'll also enter several public comments that were received and previously distributed to the board. Exhibit number 4 is email and support from Ehab Samir, 1014 Polo Downs Drive, dated March 27th, 2025. Exhibit number 5 is email and support from Sterla Olson, 1020 Polo Downs Drive, dated March 29th, 2025. Exhibit number 6 is email and support sent by Diana Liu on behalf of various neighbors at 1032 and 1038 Polo Downs Drive, dated April 1st, 2025. And exhibit number 7 is email and support from Randall Johnson, 1008 Polo Downs Drive, dated April 3rd, 2025.
Thank you very much. I would now invite Mr. Virlapati, owner, to the podium to answer any questions from the board. If you would. Aldermen, and good evening. Thank you for being here. I'm going to open it up to the board who may want to ask you questions. Alderman Weezahan.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually had a question for Mr. Spencer. Just for clarification, what was it that triggered this, the need for a CUP for this project?
So solar panels on a roof, there's 2 different types of processes. If it's on the rear roof, it's architectural review only. If it's on the front of a roof facing a street or the side of a roof facing a street, it requires a conditional use permit. In this case, there's 2 separate areas of panels, one on the side of the roof facing the street and the other on the front of the roof facing the street.
Okay. And like we kind of discussed before, I know maybe a little nuance of the comparison, but I was just curious, you know, we allow the side entry garages, we don't allow garage doors to face the street. Is that different than what we would allow for the solar panels that just given a majority of these panels, if it was only the panels that were above the garage, would that be similar, since it's right above the garage doors, would that still trigger the CUP or would that be permitted?
Correct. There's a higher level of, there's a stricter trigger for solar panels than there would be for garages. We just don't allow front-facing garages. You can have a side entry and see it from the street, or even be on a corner lot and face the street. But solar panels are regulated differently.
Okay.
Currently.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions from other members of the board? Yeah.
Sorry, one other question for you. The small section in the front, has there been any consideration of having that in the back of the house?
So I have my vendor, Sun Solar, John is here.
Okay.
He said that any solar panels on the backside, they are about 50% inefficient. So their production of the electricity goes down by 50%.
And so because of the way the house is situated and the angle of the roof, so it's about 50%. I mean, if you just see, we have sun, earth is going around, but we have seasons, summer and winter. It's just because of the, angle of the earth that's rotating around the sun. So the angle of the roof and how the home is placed in relationship to the sun makes a huge difference in terms of electricity generation. So the backside of the home, it's about 50% less, and that becomes economically unfeasible for me to consider that. I'm already, contracted with them to spend about $85,000. And if it goes to the back, I really don't get any return on that investment.
Just from the small section that's on the front, even if the panels on the side stayed, the small section on the front would still impact it that much to where?
Yes, I have something I can show you guys if you like, which is an estimate of how many hours the sun hits those panels in the back, and especially the front. On the front,
I'm sorry, can I get your name real quick?
Oh, I'm John Luzinski, Luzynski.
Thank you.
My address is 772 Top Notch Lane in Eureka, Missouri. So here, I took the liberty to print this out. It shows those four in the front, they get 1,323, I believe, hours of sun. So those are the best producing ones. And if you look at the sun hours on the ones that are marked the rear, you can see that they're much less efficient because they're blocked not only by the angle of the sun, but also by the slope of the roof, which is facing away from the sun.
Okay.
So I also have a printout of the Senate Bill 820 that clearly states that the homeowners associations may adopt a reasonable rule subject to any applicable statutes or ordinance regarding the placement of solar panels or solar collectors to the extent that those rules do not prevent the installation of the device, impair the functioning of the device, restrict the use of the device, or, and this is the important part, adversely affect the cost or efficiency of the device. So I'd like to enter this in as well, because that's the state statute that basically gives the homeowner a right to put in a solar system that produces what they're paying for. Because it would be kind of like this. If we take those 4 panels off and you had 16 panels on just by the garage, and we move those 16 panels to the rear, he would lose 31.8% in production, which means it'd be like having almost a third of your, like say you hired a workforce to work for you for 30 years, which is basically what he paid for, is 30-year warranty on the product. And he would only get 62%, or 68% or so of the efficiency. It's like paying an extra couple of workers to never show up to work.
Yeah, I was only curious about that section on the front.
Those produce the most, and it's just to get the closest production because of the angles on his roof and all of the dormers and whatnot. That's the only place we could fit it. We tried our darndest to adhere to the all the code for the fire codes for setbacks, and we couldn't fit the amount of panels he needed just on the garage sides.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. You can have a seat if you wish now. Unless you have some other statement you want to.
Yeah, I just have a couple of minutes if I can.
Just a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Respected members of the Board of Aldermen and trustees of Polo Downs. Again, for the record, my name is Daya Kavilapati. I reside at 1019 Polo Downs Drive. I sincerely like to thank each one of you for your service to city of town and country and our citizens. I understand that many of you have full-time jobs and personal commitments, but yet you dedicate your time to serve our community. I deeply appreciate your time and sacrifice and selfless service. In October 2024, I contracted with Sun Solar, a highly respected solar installation company that's also one of the Tesla's approved vendors. Sun Solar has been a trusted leader in Missouri's solar energy sector for over a decade, completing thousands of projects with a reputation for quality, professionalism, and commitment to sustainability. Sun Solar has proposed installing solar panels on the garage and front side of my home, the areas with the best sun exposure. However, our trustees have expressed a preference for placing all these panels on the backside of my roof. Based on Sun Solar's analysis, that configuration would result in approximately 50% lower efficiency due to shading and roof angle. John from Sun Solar has already provided some details. Now, I have a compelling personal and practical need for this installation. I own 2 electric vehicles, and my monthly electricity bill exceeds $225. And the current design helps offset about 50% of that cost. Now, my wife, can't sleep at night without a ceiling fan. And power outages, like recently we had a 9-hour power outage from 11:30 to 8:30. And it caused a very big discomfort. The next day, whole day, she was nagging me, and I didn't have enough sleep. I didn't have enough sleep. You all understand, how that family life goes. With increasing demand from artificial intelligence, crypto mining, electric vehicles, utility rates are projected to increase 12 to 14% and even beyond. I anticipate more outages and higher bills, especially with the 2 electric cars. My bill is only going to go up significantly. If I am required to redesign the system to place all panels on the rear roof, the project will be delayed by 1 or 2 months and become economically infeasible for me. And I'm also pleased to share that 7 of my immediate neighbors, including the neighbor who is right opposite my home, Starla Olson, which he shared as support through email, we all support my current proposal, and some already submitted letters of support in this regard. Considering the support of my neighbors, the urgency of the energy needs, the clear impact of system efficiency and project feasibility, I respectfully and earnestly request that the board approve the proposed solar panel installation at 1019 Polo Ground Drives as presented. Thank you again for your dedicated service and thoughtful consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Is it pronounced Virlapati?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Please have a seat. Now, we do have several speakers, also from Polo Downs, who would like to speak.
Sure.
And so I'll have you let them come up. First is Mr. Robert Leslie. And again, it may be redundant, but give your name and address before you start speaking.
My name is Robert Leslie, and I've been a homeowner at Polo Downs for 30 years. And I was probably the 2nd or 3rd homeowner on that street. We have 21 homes today. And I've been the president of the trustees and the homeowners association for 30 years. And we have worked very hard to develop that subdivision and homeowners association to make sure that the homes that were built with the correct aesthetics and proper materials to coincide with one another. We, as the board of the trustees, took a vote, and the vote was unanimous. There are 3 members of the trustees, and all 3 were negative. We did not like the position or the placement of the solar panels. We do not have anything against solar panels as long as they are not visible from the street. This particular placement, I have these, I don't know, can you pass these around? I only have 4, so you might have to share them. These are a picture of the Dave Araplatti's garage. And as you pull into Polo Downs subdivision, it's the first thing that you see on the left-hand side. That garage roof is going to be filled with solar panels. So everybody that pulls into Polo Downs is going to see nothing but solar panels. It's going to look like a billboard for solar panels. So we think that location, not only is it bad to be in the front, but it's in the very front of the subdivision, and everyone coming in will see that. Now, I know I heard conversation here about Senate Bill 820 and the statute 442-404. And as of January 1st, that prohibited HOAs from determining locations of solar panels that were going to have less efficiency. So it kind of it brings us to the point where our only remedy is to come here to the Board of Aldermen and to place our dissent. As I look in some of the Missouri statutes, 405-226 regarding solar energy systems, this is section C, number 1. Says no permit for any ground-mounted solar energy system or roof-mounted solar energy system that is mounted either on the front of the roof or on the side of a roof facing the street or on a flat roof, which the application can be seen from the ground shall not be issued. Then on section 405-226, section D, letter D, talks about all above ground portions of solar energy systems shall be contained in a space between the rear of any principal building of the lot and the rear of the building setback lines. As I said, we have nothing against solar panels. We just think that they should not be visible from the street, and especially the location of this particular proposal, I think, is just the worst possible location you could have.
Thank you for your comment. Any more speakers? And honestly, so far, I've done a pretty poor job of limiting the speakers to 3 minutes to get back on track. I would appreciate that. The next is Angela Leslie.
Hello, I'm Angela Leslie, 1049 Polo Downs Drive. Mr. Leslie's wife. Mr. Leslie's been a trustee for probably like 25 years and has worked very hard to keep our subdivision looking great. It's one street off the outer road there, between doing all the flowers, the mulching, the trees, really making it look nice. I run that street every day for my exercise, and I think solar panels are great, but I definitely think it would be an eyesore if it's on the front or the side. I think it's an option. We have electric in our homes, so to get that is to have the option, and I think great to save in money. But there's 21 homes on that street, and I think it could possibly hurt the resale of our homes if someone pulls in and sees this big eyesore driving in. Like I said, nothing against solar panels. I wish they would be on the back part for him. Definitely want to try to keep our street looking as nice as possible. And I don't think just because it benefits one person, that 20 other homes should maybe, be penalized for it in the future when we want to sell our home and someone pulls in and sees that and thinks, well, I'm not going to buy on this street because of walking, driving and seeing that. So we try very hard to keep our subdivision looking nice for town and country, and just hope that, you consider having him put him on the back of his home instead of the front or side. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Francois J. Patel.
Yeah, my name is Jack Patel, and I'm on 1056 Polo Downs Drive. Again, as Angie said, I'm almost like her opinion ways that it should be more like on the back side of the home. Everybody's going to go with the solar panel in the future, but as long as it meets the neighborhood's opinion and the way it's supposed to look, I think I'm on board with it. So on my opinion, having on the front of the garage, it's going to look very bad. And it should be on the back side of the roof. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. Two more, Janet and Bill Bourne, whoever wants to go first, feel free. I expect you're Bill.
I am,
All right.
I'm Bill Warren, 1074 Polo Downs Drive. I'm also a trustee. I agree. I've sat through a lot of meetings with you guys up here. I've seen people try to do this, put them on the front of the house. You said, no, let's put them on the back. I have absolutely no problem with solar panels. I just don't want that to be the first thing I see when I pull in my subdivision. If he puts them on the back of his house, puts them in his backyard where we can't see them, that's not an issue. But the front of the property is not a place for solar panels. I don't care where you're in, town and country or any place else. So that's all I need to say.
Appreciate it.
Janet Bourne, 1074 Pillow Downs Drive. And I really don't have anything to add to what they said. I don't agree that they should be placed on particularly on the garage, because pictures say one thing, but if you were actually to drive into our subdivision, Bob is absolutely right. That's the first thing that you see, and it's a big garage, and it would be full of solar panels. And it's not consistent with the look and the feel of the neighborhood. We've lived there for 27 years, and as Angie said, we've all worked hard to keep our neighborhood looking nice. And again, I don't have any problem with solar panels, but they need to be on the back of the house. And if the efficiency is reduced significantly, well, then maybe he needs to relook the financial aspect of doing it at all. It's just gonna be a very big eyesore for our neighborhood, because it is the first thing that you see when you come in, even though it's like the third house or whatever. You see that big garage, and I don't wanna see those solar panels. Thank you.
Thank you. And actually, thanks to everyone who took the time to come in and make us comment. Before, I think I may have overlooked, Alderman Murphy, did you have a question for Senator Labate?
It's actually for Mr. Luzinski and probably a little bit of Mr. Spencer as well. So I'm looking at the oblique area in the documentation, and I definitely see the garage and all that. I see the front roof. Now, I will have to do a demo, but I'm curious, the front on the roof, it appears that panel is basically flush to the roof, right? Mounted.
They mount about 6 inches off.
Mounted like parallel to the roof. What are the design considerations? What are the options about, and I'm going to show a demonstration, this being the back of the roof and having something set so it would have a parallel view to the sun, but just kind of like mounted on brackets, if you will. And I'm going to go to Mr. Spencer. I guess
It
first.
can't be more than 12 inches off the roof. It'd be in violation of our regulations. So it has to be flush.
It would also affect the wind resistance, because all our panels and everything are tested up to 125 mile an hour wind, so.
Yeah, okay. Just had to ask.
Alderman Stein,
Thank you, Mayor. John, another question for you. I have 21 solar panels on my house. They're black.
Yeah, these are
What color are
black
these?
as well.
So the same color as the asphalt shingles that are
Exactly.
currently on the house.
With black outline, black solar panels, they're all black.
Thank you.
Alderman Schreier.
Ryan, are there any homes in town and country that have Tesla solar roofs?
There are a few, yes. I couldn't give you the exact number, but that's definitely a product that I've seen before.
And is that considered a solar panel or a roofing?
I would ask
It is a roofing material.
It's-
It's a separate type of material. Some of they're smaller tiles, and they are flush mounted to the roof. And some are solar, and some are just ceiling or roofing tiles. So, but it's triple the expense of a standard solar roof. And we considered doing a Tesla solar roof just on the garage, but with a Tesla solar roof, it has to be the whole roof or not. Yeah, so.
For the house or just the garage?
We couldn't do just the garage because of the way the roofs connect, so.
And then there would be no CUP needed for the Tesla, right? Because it's a.
Probably
it's a
not.
product.
It's just a replacement roofing material.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it would need to be regulated the same way as a solar panel, but that would be something I would have to investigate. Speak with legal and other folks about how our regulations apply.
It's kind of a gray area, right? 'Cause it's.
Correct.
But you said the cost would like triple?
True, yeah. He was looking, I think, that's
200,000 and above.
yeah. And his roof is only 3 years old, so we don't want to tear up a perfectly good roof and throw it in the landfill just to, please the homeowners association.
Thank you.
Alderman Kinsella. Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Lozinski, I have another question for you about the design of these current solar panels. It seems to me that early on, they were very reflective, glossy panels. Can you describe how that's been changed and evolved over time?
Yes, so that became a problem. As planes flew overhead, they would, shine light up towards the planes. Okay, so what they've done is they've made them a sort of a matte finish, and there's a special, not really a coating, it's the surface is matte, and it's got a lot of little bumps to it, so that it's not perfectly smooth, that it doesn't reflect light off of it, so it won't cause, like you can imagine, a mirror shining sunlight into somebody's home. That would just be terrible. So they have addressed that over the years.
And the mounting material, is it
It's-
visible then?
it's,
Is that visible from a distance, or is it all?
No,
black?
you
You're
can
looking at a
barely
black
see
surface.
we use an aluminum rail that is aluminum, silver, but it's mounted underneath and it's set back from the edge. So you would really have to look to see any mounting material.
Okay, so all you're seeing then is matte black material
Material, yeah.
from,
With maybe a little bit of silver visible on the very edge.
all right, thank you. Alderman Murphy.
Thank you. One more question actually for the homeowner. Thank you, first of all, for coming in. We are an expert not of solar panels on the panel. That's a lot of the questions. You'd mentioned, it's a big investment for you, I know. I think you said 85,000 today.
That's correct. I mean, what I've seen so far, that the homes that have solar panels are getting sold 50,000 above the comparable neighborhood homes. And this particular home gives you dividend every month because the electricity bill is down by 50% almost. So you get every month, if an asset is giving you money, I don't know how it becomes an eyesore. So.
Yeah, if I may, I know everyone is dealing with higher energy costs and all that. You'd mentioned, I thought, like 225 or so a month?
That's right.
Wow. Okay, thank you. So 225 is thank you.
All right. So the lights on, I now declare this public hearing closed. Thank you for everybody's attention and input. Didn't have any appointments in that. I now would recognize the board's opportunity to provide reports if they desire. Alderman Stein, you will.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things. One, Public Works does not have enough of an agenda, so that meeting has been canceled for April. But we invited her to join us in the month of May. Secondly, I'd like to ask Ryan probably, can we get an update on the status of Deer Hollow and the McBride condos? Like, where are we in the process? Like, I saw trees down. When do they have to start building the homes in both locations?
The trees were cleared at Deer Hollow to, before April 1st because of the bat, population we had to clear before April 1st breeding season. And that's the same reason the Principia's trees came down at the same time. I don't know when they're going to execute their site improvement work. Has that been issued, or is MSD still? MSD has held up the approvals. They've been asking for some different, some changes. So that's really what the holdup is at this point.
Do we only approve it for a certain period of time? When do they have to start?
They have,
turning the shovel?
I think they have, I want to say our code has 5 years on the amended. site plan for that specific development.
5 years until they have to turn it off.
Well, the site improvement permit's probably only good for a year, but I'm talking about the amended site plan.
So if it's amended, we could vote it down if we're not happy with progress.
I'd have to look into that for you, sir.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because like to me, it's rushing, right? And make these decisions now it's sitting there. And I mean, how about?
Yeah, and like I said, it's in
5
this
year-
deed, it's older than that.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And the same, is it a 5-year thing for the McBride development too?
No, they're closing on that in May. So demolition will take place this summer, construction will begin this fall.
Okay.
That's everything they've relayed to me is that's the schedule.
Okay. Yeah, can we look into it, because 5 years is an awfully long time.
And I may be misspeaking in the project, but I will let you know what the timeframe is for Deer Hollow specifically.
Yeah, and also for the other one, if there's a timing.
Sure.
Because they could just stop, I guess, if they have 5 years also, right?
We have sureties, that's the reason we have sureties to complete projects once they're underway.
Have we got money for the sidewalk that Robinsonville yet?
No, because they haven't closed on the property.
Okay, and do we have a time frame for once they close, when they have to give us that money?
I want to say it's 90 days, 60 days, it's a short period of time.
Okay. So you'll keep us posted on all this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, hey, Ryan,
I knew you were.
I'm just curious. I didn't know bats were an endangered species.
I don't know the exact species, but yeah, it's a thing.
There's a certain bat that nests in the trees, and so you can't tear the trees down while they might be nesting.
I get it.
Yeah.
Just curious.
So there's always a rush in March to do tree clearing, because then it's.
Does our city have some abundance of these trees that the bats love so much? Or?
I don't know. I've seen too many vampire movies. Alderman Hughes.
Thank you, Mayor. The next meeting of the Architecture Review Board is set for Monday, May 5th at 5:30 PM here at the Municipal Center. All are welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Parks and Trails Commission is excited about the kickoff to the concert series. First one will be Thursday, April 24th, starting at 6 p.m. We're going to have the band called 120 Minutes performing. We're also going to be passing out 100 tree seedlings to celebrate Arbor Day. In addition, we'll be celebrating our 75th anniversary. Thank you to the folks at Straub's for donating 75th anniversary cake, if you will. The cake is not 75 years old. The city has already invited current and past officials to attend this high-profile ceremony. Certainly all the people in the audience are invited to attend, and we look forward to seeing them, as well as anyone watching on YouTube. Special thanks to T-Mobile and People's National Bank for sponsoring. Mr. Mayor, I can have more. The Trace Park Pavilion is near completion. The main structure has been built. Next, we'll have the electric fans and tables. That will all be accomplished right now in time for groups to enjoy the pavilion starting May 9th, so just a few weeks from now. And more. Finally, the Winterfest Committee is convening to create another December event that you can write home to all friends and family about. This will be in Town Square. Special thanks to People's National Bank and to Balloon Lighting, who have already contributed in donating lighting for the event as well this year. Watch for more information.
That's great. And for anyone who has not actually gone to our annual summer concerts of this, they're great concert series. I mean, people have a lot of fun. I would suggest you order early at the food trucks because there's a rush on. Those, I've been impressed with consistently how good the entertainment has been, year in and year out, show after show. So you guys do a great job on that. You really do. Really do. Mr. Sheldon, do you have a report?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. The date that you've all been waiting for is almost here. Saturday will be our Shred and E-Cycle event. Advertised start time is 9 a.m. I suggest you and the residents get here before 8 because there is always a line. Morgan will attest. The posted finish time is 11, but as soon as the trucks are full, they'll pull out and the line will close. So we recommend getting here early. Any items you have any questions about, you can check the website. It's very detailed. But look forward to seeing everybody on Saturday with your E-Cycle and Shred.
Understand, would you have another?
I did, I'm sorry.
No, fire away.
I'm just shocked that my fellow alderman did not give us an update on our tunnel project, which I'm dying to walk by and see. Has that started now that it's approved, or?
The graffiti paint, or the graffiti protection paint has been dealt with. So now I think the folks at Principia, the team at Principia is getting their smocks on and getting ready to start painting. So,
This week.
Oh, this week?
thank you, man.
Yeah, oh, cool, so we can stop by this week maybe and,
Help out, you know.
Thank
You
you so much.
can critique it, say,
Yeah.
They will just watch.
I promise.
No, appreciate that.
They don't want that. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Moving on to unfinished business. Number one, bill number 25-12, sponsored by the Board as a whole, without objection to the city clerk reading the bill for the second time.
Bill number 2512 is an ordinance authorizing the city administrator to execute a supplemental agreement with HR Green Inc. for additional engineering design services associated with phases 2A and 2B of the Topping Road resurfacing and pedestrian improvements project.
Thank you. I seek a motion and second to approve.
Move.
Second. Thank you. Any discussion or amendment? Alderman Hughes.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a question. Point number 3, he talks about east-west gateways changes in the scoping criteria. Could you enlighten me what scoping criteria is?
That's likely to change again, is my understanding.
Okay.
But at that time, they were looking for underprivileged communities and lower income communities.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Thank you.
Alderman Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mayor. Michael, just another quick question for you about the rationale that the vendor was using to change the price tag and raise the price for the design work. They argued that part of the original design was that the city would pay entirely for the work. And so the city has its own requirements for how that work was to be done. However, once it was being managed by a grant, the cost for doing so for the design work would be substantially more. Why is there such a difference between how the grant requires the design work to be done versus how the city would have done it?
The reason for the difference is that they have far fewer requirements to submit to the city than they do to the state. The state requires all kinds of environmental, historical documentation, and several other reviews prior to approval of the final plans. Their right-of-way acquisition is far more complicated as well. So there are a number of things that are more complicated with a federal project than there are just doing it for the city.
Did you feel comfortable that their cost increase for that design work was legitimate? Did it feel comfortable to you?
I'm comfortable with it, yes, sir.
Okay.
By the way, the form that they use is a federal form. It's basically a fill-in-the-blank form. So the form that they're showing on attachment A is a federal form.
Again, I just would comment that, to me, it's amazing that the amount of work we've had done at our 3 parks, which have made these parks look remarkably better, how much of that we have been able to accomplish with grants, and not just on the city's dime. That, so I feel like what's been done in those 3 parks, with roughly generally 80% with grant money, has been kind of off the charts, frankly, in terms of a home run for the city.
We haven't been lucky enough to get a 90% grant on our sidewalks, unfortunately.
But the fact is, that we've got such great grants is actually spectacular. Alderman Allen.
Thank you, Mayor. So just going back, I mean, this portion that we're approving now was put on hold in 2020, correct?
The entire project was put on hold in 2020 and then
Because,
restarted because of COVID, yes, ma'am. And then restarted in 2021.
okay. And then, so initially, there was to be the 8-foot trail, but it went 5
That's correct.
feet sidewalk.
Yes, ma'am.
It's going to be on the west side.
Yes.
And I remember there were a lot of residents who were not happy about sidewalk or anything coming next to their properties, but that's gotten all worked out.
Yes, ma'am.
And so it would have been cheaper if we'd had the money before
Mhm.
and could have done it, but it's gonna get done, so, thank you.
And it'll look nice, actually. Yes, sir. I'd ask the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Alderman Steinhubel,
Aye.
Alderman Hughes,
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
Alderman Schwer,
Aye.
Alderman Harder,
Aye.
Alderman Murphy,
Aye.
Alderman Kinsella.
Aye.
And Alderman Weezahan.
Aye.
The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4687.
Thank you. Next bill number 25-15, sponsored by Alderman Murphy. Without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the second time?
Bill number 2515 is an ordinance authorizing the city administrator to execute a professional services agreement with SWT Design for services associated with the development of the Preservation Park Pickleball and Bike Playground Project, construction documents, and construction administration.
Thank you. I seek a motion and second to approve. So moved. Second. Thank you. Any discussion or amendment? I would ask the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Alderman Murphy,
Aye.
Alderman Weezahan,
Aye.
Alderman Steinhubel,
Aye.
Alderman Schwer,
Aye.
Alderman Harder,
Aye.
Alderman Kinsella,
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Aye.
And Alderman Hughes.
Aye.
The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4688.
Thank you. Next, moving on to new business. First is bill number 25-16, perhaps sponsored by Ward 3, without objection. Will the city clerk read the bill for the first time?
Bill number 2516 is an ordinance approving a conditional use and authorizing a conditional use permit for an accessory structure, a roof-mounted solar energy system facing a street located at 1019 Polo Downs Drive in the city of Town and Country.
Thank you. This bill, bill number 2516, is continued to the meeting of Monday, April 28, 2025, for the second reading and consideration. Next bill number 25-17, sponsored by Ward 4, without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the first time?
Bill number 2517 is an ordinance approving the amended final site development plan with conditions to be complied with for Kirk of the Hills Presbyterian Church Kirk Day School located at 12928 Ladue Road and authorizing certification of the amended final site development plan.
Thank you. Bill number 25-17 is also continued to the meeting of Monday, April 28, 2025, for the second reading and consideration. Next, bill number 25-18, sponsored by the board as a whole, without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the first time?
Bill number 2518 is an ordinance amending Title 6, Chapter 600, Alcoholic Beverages of the Municipal Code, specifically by the enactment of Section 600.255 and amendment of Section 600.400 regarding liquor licenses.
Thank you. Bill number 25-18 is continued to the meeting of Monday, April 28, 2025, for the second reading and consideration. Next, bill number 25-19, sponsored by the board as a whole, without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the first time?
Bill number 2519 is an ordinance approving a purchase order with Landmark Dodge for the purchase of a Dodge Durango Police Patrol vehicle and amending the 2025 budget by increasing a capital improvements fund expenditure account to cover a portion of the purchase and appropriating funds to cover the increase.
Thank you. With that, I'm sorry, it's
Yeah.
Alderman Weezahan.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move to suspend the agenda rules in order to read the bill for the second time and take it up for consideration in the interest of public safety and for continuity of patrol operations.
All in favor of suspending agenda rules?
I'm sorry,
say aye.
Mayor, can I have a second on that first?
Second.
Thank you, everyone.
So, all in favor of suspending agenda rules, say aye.
Aye.
I consent to the suspension. Second reading, without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the second time?
Bill number 2519 is an ordinance approving a purchase order with Landmark Dodge for the purchase of a Dodge Durango Police Patrol vehicle and amending the 2025 budget by increasing a capital improvements fund expenditure account to cover a portion of the purchase and appropriating funds to cover the increase.
Thank you. Seek a motion to approve in the second.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Alderman Harder.
Yes, Chief Wilkie, was this vehicle scheduled to be replaced next year anyway?
I would have, unfortunately, we've had a couple of vehicles recently. I know that that vehicle wasn't going to be replaced this year for sure.
Oh, not in 25, but 26.
I don't think it was scheduled to be replaced next year either.
Because they had like 83,000 miles already, so.
Right, we probably would have taken it out of primary fleet status and kept it as what we would call a pool car for administrative functions or a backup vehicle.
Okay. So it wasn't on the future budget for 26 to be replaced anyway, it wasn't in the rotation.
Not immediately, no, sir.
Okay.
Thanks, Chief. I would ask the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Alderman Weezant.
Aye.
Alderman Kinsella.
Aye.
Alderman Harder.
Aye.
Alderman Hughes.
Aye.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman Steinfeld.
Aye.
Alderman Schwer.
Aye.
And Alderman Allen. The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4689.
Thank you. Next bill number 25-20, sponsored by the board as a whole. Without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the first time?
Bill number 2520 is an ordinance accepting the bid of NB West Contracting for the 2025 Clayton Road resurfacing project from Municipal Center Drive to Mason Road and authorizing an agreement for same.
Thank you. Bill number 2520 is continued to the meeting of Monday, April 28, 2025, for the second reading and consideration. Next bill number 25-21, also sponsored by the board as a whole. Without objection, will the city clerk read the bill for the first time?
Bill number 2521 is an ordinance repealing ordinance number 805 that provided for overtime compensation for police employees and enacting in lieu thereof a new ordinance that establishes overtime compensation regulations for all employees of the city of Town and Country.
Thank you. Bill number 25-21 is continued to the meeting Monday, April 28, 2025, for the second reading and consideration. Next, an agenda item, staff travel request for the senior accountant to attend the Town Connect 2025 conference in an amount not to exceed $1,323.22. I seek a motion and second to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. The warrant list is the amount of $1,872,234.19. I seek a motion and second to approve.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion or amendment on the warrant list? Other than I'm happy for you guys. Alderman Allen.
My life is just to make people happy.
I know, it's making you right.
Okay. And I continue to think it's really important to give people information from what went before. But I did talk to Ms. Nixon today, Ms. Nixon, sorry. And I just want to point out that she's going to give briefly details of the project Unplugged, which is identified on the credit card list. And the project Unplugged was started by a private donation from a very generous Town and Country resident. I think the amount was $35,000, and he had significant commitment to, I would think, kind of like the idea of wellness and relaxation and helping our city move to some support for staff and others. So his name is George John. He's I think he may be your neighbor, Alderman Kinsella. He's a Ward 3 resident, and can you briefly just let people know how we benefited and where we are?
Sure. So as Sue mentioned, the donation was $35,000. That money was spent $17,000 on the physical facility at Longview Farmhouse. If you haven't been back to the Project Unplugged area, I welcome you for a visit. It's beautifully designed and decorated in a very calming, soothing, relaxing motif. And it's utilized for mindfulness trainings. We did a partnership with Missouri Baptist Medical Center. We do winter wellness workshops in January, February, and March of each year since the grant was given. And so 17,000 of the donation was for the facility, and then 18,000 was for startup of all of these programs. And so we've utilized it in a variety of ways. For example, our yoga classes moved outside during COVID, and we were able to purchase some space heaters for the area, some gas space heaters, which now we use for Winterfest and many other activities. But it allowed some of those startup costs. And now each of the programs is revenue generating. So there was a little bit of startup up front. And we covered the cost of some speakers and some presenters and facilitators of the programs. And now they are registration supported.
So we have an ongoing benefit to the city from this donation.
Correct.
Thank you.
All in favor of approving the warrant list, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Under other business, I'm just gonna take a minute or two if I could. As we all know, there was a recent election, and two of our board members, this will be the last full meeting, they'll be here at the beginning of the next meeting. Both have decided that, hey, they've done their duty, and they're gonna move on. And one is Sue Allen, who has been a great asset to this board over these years. She, she has served also already at the state level, and to have some of her experience and knowledge of not only how municipalities but how the state works, and that kind of experience for myself, who was a new mayor, very limited administrative experience, has been a great help, and I appreciate it immensely. Also, would be remiss to not also point out to the fact that at some point in the relatively near future, we will have a completed Veterans and First Responders Memorial. And if it had not been for Sue's effort, that would just be somebody thinking about it and not happening. So she did yeoman work with that, along with Ann Nixon and the committee to make that happen. So I wish you good luck going forward, and want to be sure to be on the record to thank you for your service. Absolutely. The other alderman is Fritz Wees, and is leaving. And again, what an asset to the city. I think I can say in all honesty that no one studies the issues and plans and prepares for these meetings with Fritz. I mean, he is like a dog with a bone. He just doesn't let go of issues. That's meant as a compliment. That's meant as a compliment. It took me an hour to write that. But you sincerely, and then heading up the police, fire, emergency responder committee at some times of which was not a hell of a lot of fun. And you hung in there and you did a great job. And I will sorely miss seeing you sitting there right next to me. So, congratulations to you also. You're an exceptionally fine young man. Sawyer, Mr. Gerber, who are both here, who will be coming on board as aldermen. It's a service job, and it's oftentimes pleasant, but occasionally not so pleasant. So I think it's, I'm very happy that we have people in this community who are so dedicated to our city, who are willing to serve. I even want to give a shout out to Stephen Nemo. Yeah, he ran, he didn't win. But when there's an election and it's not unopposed, somebody's not gonna win. And the fact is, I give a lot of credit to anybody who just puts his name in there and does it. So I know you know Steve, tell him that, appreciate the fact that he put his name in there. That's really all I have to say. I will open it to any other alderman who may have any this topic they want to discuss at this time. This is yours. Right.
I'd just like to say, and I felt as Alderman Murphy read his report about his commission, it's too bad he doesn't have any enthusiasm. I mean, I would have said something at the moment. I could just feel all this energy and excitement. And I didn't want to speak out of order, so thank you for letting me make this comment. And he loves what he's doing. I appreciate that.
That's right. Thank you. I seek a motion and second to adjourn.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
More than.